Hello, my name is Anthony. As we know, there are different kinds of physical security, and we are going to discuss electromagnetic radiation interception. So you may have questions why we are going to discuss about electromagnetic radiation, and that's because we can sniff data. And now we're going to see what electromagnetic radiation is.
Something surrounds you, bombards you, some of which you can't see, touch, or even feel. Every day, everywhere you go. It is odorless and tasteless, yet you use it and depend on it every hour of every day. Without it, the world you know could not exist. What is it? Electromagnetic radiation.
In the video, we see that each device emits electromagnetic radiation. Even computers will admit it. In 1985, scientists proved that computer monitors emit radio waves and that the image on the screen could be reconstructed. To show how to sniff the data is too complex and expensive, so we are going to interview Professor David Paletti. Is it possible to sniff data with electromagnetic radiation?
There is technology that has existed for years to read a CRT monitor, an old-style tube monitor. It's 1.5 feet deep at a distance. But researchers have shown about 3 years ago, back in I think 2009, that they are able to reproduce even LED monitor images at a distance and LCD monitors. And what they're doing is basically looking at not the screen itself, but looking at the information as it's transmitted from the video card to the monitor, where the data is sent just a pixel at a time, and are able to read that information. And he's shown that it even works with a laptop, where he can read the information going from the laptop to the attached monitor, and has had varying degrees of success with that, with different laptops have more or less radiation emitted at a distance.
In the video, the professor explains that CRT monitors and LCD monitors emit radiation. While CRT monitors emit more radiation than LCD monitors, the data can be sniffed on both. Is it easy to sniff data with electromagnetic radiation?
Well, for the most part, I think people are going to use methods which require less electronic equipment in order to do it. For instance, to read even a CRT monitor, let alone an LCD monitor, at a distance would require possibly a truck full of equipment. So I think these cases would be rather rare. You're more likely to see cases where people are just breaking in via network directly. I think cases like this would be restricted to, say, high-level corporate espionage or one government spying on another.
How can we make it more secure?
To begin with, any computer that you want to be secure would have to be inaccessible via the internet. That's your first line of defense. Then if you wanted to defend against some attacks like this by reading the electromagnetic information emanated by the computer, what you'd have to do is basically construct a Faraday cage around the computer, which is a room made out of fine mesh copper wire that stops electromagnetic radiation from penetrating through the Faraday cage. So you basically have to keep the computer isolated. And any information on it, again, if you connect it with a network cable to another computer, maybe they could read the information off the network cable, even if it's not connected to the internet. So to make anything really secure, it basically has to be completely isolated, both physically in terms of connections and then isolated inside of a Faraday cage to prevent any radiation leakage.
A good deal of money is being spent by the government and military to prevent data theft. The government has even developed a program named Tempest. Tempest requires computers to be as far as possible from outside walls, to have special shielding, and even maintaining a safe distance from plumbing and other infrastructure components that may carry radio waves. So now we know there is a vulnerability in sniffing data with electromagnetic radiation.